everyone, my name is Ashton and I'm just trying to get it together. So in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little different. Actually a lot different. The lighting is different. The mood is different. I'm in a comfy sweatshirt that looks like it's inside out, but it's really not. I bought it that way. It's kind of like torn up jeans. We buy it that way because we want it that way. So today I'm going to kind of let you in on a little something that is a part of me. Today we're going to be talking about migraines. Not what you thought. Just kidding, you read the title. You knew what you signed up for. But today we're going to be talking about my journey, what I've dealt with, what I've kind of went through, how I've gotten to where I am, and how the heck I am where I am. So if you care about any of that, if you find it interesting, or if you are right there with me, or if you've just started to deal with this nonsense, hang tight because we're gonna get with it right now. You should like, comment, subscribe because I post 3 videos a week. So let's get started. I also want to remind everyone that I am not a medical professional. I am not someone who's telling you what you should do with your migraines. Trust me. It's been a long time. It's been about 9 years of changing and tweaking my medications to figure out what's going on up in here. So I am not a medical professional. I'm just someone who is telling you about my experiences. So do not think that I am a medical professional. I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, not anyone like that. Not in the medical field. I am not even good at a biology course. So I'm someone who actually does suffer with what's called the classic migraine. I have migraines with what's called aura. And I will pop up a picture of, and it's really weird how they figure out exactly what you see. But this is what pops up, and I'll explain like what a typical day is like whenever I have a migraine. But whenever you have a migraine with aura, you see this like vision in your eyes, and it blocks out a lot of things and it makes your life very difficult. And then like for me, I see that, a pounding headache starts, and then vomiting occurs, and mine come in clusters. So I see the aura, I have the headache, vomiting, it starts over. I have the aura, the headache, vomiting, starts over. Luckily, I do have medication that I take every day to help make them a lot less frequent, and then whenever I have them, I have medicine to make that calm down, to make it stop, to where I don't have the clusters over and over and over. So let's talk about how it actually all began, because I have talked to people who do have a lot of different issues that they struggle with. Because a lot of people do think that, oh, I have a really bad headache, so it's a migraine. That's not true. I mean, I'm someone who has regular headaches too. You know, you can have a bad headache after a long day. You can have a stress-induced headache. You know, you can have all of that. But a migraine is something completely different. You cannot go throughout your day. It inhibits everything you are trying to do. Mine first started in 2011. I was in college and I had just started, and I remember that I was in my dorm and I got up and I was having a regular day, and my vision was just gone in part of my eye. I know I did this, but I meant like this. Like my vision was just gone. I was seeing these splotches and these like zigzags, and it was scary. And then all of a sudden it went away, whatever. It did that 3 or 4 different times, and the next time I went home, I went to the doctor. And they were like, well, I mean, you could be having some silent migraines. And I was like, oh. I noticed that it was a problem whenever I started my internship. I was tripping over things. I didn't see people coming to me because I had this block in my vision whenever a migraine was starting. I couldn't see where I was going. I was disoriented. And so it was blocking everything that I was doing. And these were happening frequently. You're talking multiple times within a month. And it's something that can knock you out for a day at a time, 2 days, 3. It's a lot. And if you have them multiple times, how are you going to function? And I was in college, so I was trying to keep up with my classes and all of that. So I went to the doctor again, and they prescribed me amitriptyline. It's prescribed for different things. People take it to help them sleep. At other doses, it's taken for depression and anxiety. Amitriptyline is also taken for migraines. And what's interesting is they're like, by the way, you're gonna be groggy in the morning. And I was like, whatever. I got it for my internship, and I was like, I felt like a zombie. So it was a lot, and it took me several months to adjust because I was someone that, I've never been a morning person. So it was a lot. Over time, my headaches, they slacked off. I got less and less and less. He also gave me another pill that I could take if I got a migraine. It was called sumatriptan. And typically doctors give what are called triptans. It's this family of medication that if you get a migraine, you take it and it will slow down the process. It'll eventually stop. Your migraine will go away. Unfortunately, with some of these triptans, you can feel groggy and gross for a while. And it's just, that whole thing worked for quite some time. I could also take a leave with it, and that worked for a while. So I graduated college, and I still had pretty much a nicely managed system for my migraines. Then they started to become more and more frequent, and I went to a new doctor, and she doubled my dosage of amitriptyline, and she changed my what I call rescue medication. I don't know if that's what people call it, but I know that's what they call an inhaler that you use whenever you have asthma and you can't breathe, because, hello, I also have that too. I started taking elatriptan, which is also known as Relpax. And so I was still taking amitriptyline. She doubled it. But my rescue medicine, whatever I took at the onset of a migraine, was Relpax instead of sumatriptan, the original rescue medication. And then I took an Aleve. So that worked really well for a few years. So I took it and everything was okay. I would still have migraines and they would still knock me out for a while, and they were bad. But it worked for a little while. It worked for several years. Okay, so let's skip ahead a little bit. So I started planning my wedding. Until you are there, you will not understand. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. You will be stressed out. You have these expectations here, and you have the expectations of everyone around you. That's a lot of pressure on you. My wedding was during a stressful time at work, so all of that was going on. I was trying to lose weight, and it was just, it was a perfect storm for 5,000 migraines to happen. So I went to my doctor and I said, hey, by the way, I'm having like a migraine a week. They haven't been this bad since college. What do I do? And she was like, it's a lot. So she took me off amitriptyline. I had been on this since 2011. This was 2018. That's a long time. Amitriptyline makes you very drowsy. So when she takes me off this medicine, what am I not able to do? Sleep. I'm not able to sleep. You want to talk about grouchy Ashton? It's bad. It started to affect a lot of things about me. So whenever she took me off amitriptyline, she put me on Topamax. Topamax is a drug that treats a lot of things. I did not know this until after the fact. Topamax actually treats seizures, it's for migraines, treats alcoholics, believe it or not. People take it if they want to lose weight. So it's a lot. There are a lot of different things that Topamax treats, and whenever you take it, you have to build people up. So the max dose for it is 100 milligrams, and that's where she wanted to build me up too. So you have to take 25 milligrams, then 50, then 75, and then 100. And I think it's 25 a week, and then 50 a week, and then 75 a week, and then 100 a week. So they build you up. They have to build you up because it's very strong, and it affects you big time. So whenever she was building me up on that medicine, she took me off of amitriptyline, something that I had been on for, at that point, 7 years. So it did a lot to my body. I was feeling very anxious. I had a little bit of depression going on. I wasn't able to sleep. I didn't feel right. I was feeling just kind of jittery. It was a lot. So I went back to the doctor maybe I think 2 months later, and I got back on amitriptyline. She reduced my dose of Topamax and increased my amitriptyline. So it was just all about tweaking those medicines. She was like, you need to be able to sleep. You need to be able to have that equilibrium. So there was that. And that's basically where I am now. I am on 2 medicines for my migraines. I take 25 milligrams of Topamax in the morning, and at night I take 25 milligrams of Topamax. I take, I don't remember what I take of amitriptyline, but it's a small dose, just enough to make me sleep, honestly. And then I take a magnesium, because that apparently has properties that helps prevent migraines, and magnesium is just good for you. It's really good in a lot of different levels. Those are all things that I take for that reason. Also, Claritin, allergies. So there we are. Another thing that I wanted to kind of delve into was what a typical day with a migraine looks like. Some people are like, oh, it's a headache. It is not just a headache. It's not. What I started to do is I started to record every time I had a migraine. And typically I have to do that days later because I am in a fog for days afterwards. Because my entire head feels like it is swollen, and it feels like I have just banged my head into a wall for hours. Honestly, it feels awful. My head feels like mush. That's what it feels like, actually. That's the best way to put it. My head feels like mush for days after a migraine. If I back it up to like the day before, because if I think about it and I'm like, okay, I just had a migraine the day before, I know that I had been very grouchy the day before. And if you read articles, because I did not realize this until after the fact, irritability and a lack of concentration, these are things that are very typical of people who are about to experience a really bad migraine. And I didn't really know this until I did a little bit of research, and that's very common. Whenever I get one, typically I notice first that I'm not able to see a full picture in my range of vision. Whenever I can kind of see that there are splotches in my vision, I'll look around and I'll find like a word, and if I can't read the entire thing, I know that I'm having a migraine. And so I'll immediately take my pills and I will find a way to get home. And I know that's awful to say. That does cause a lot of stress, and I'll talk about that later. But that's immediately what I want to do. I'll take a Relpax and I will take 2 Aleve immediately. Typically with what I take, I usually, and this is subject always to change because you never know what's going to happen. I typically, with this medicine concoction, I typically feel a little better enough to go to sleep within an hour. Whenever I first had the migraines, it took hours and hours and hours. It took a long time to get everything to feeling okay. And I was not, it was difficult. If you're trying to drive, this is something that apparently not a lot of people see whenever they get migraine. So it's a lot. So some things that I've done to prevent migraines, and I know this is gonna make me sound absolutely insane, and I understand that, I completely get it. But some things that I've done to prevent migraines, first of all, magnesium, that's one thing I take. It has some properties to help prevent migraines. Other things, I heard that if you get your daith pierced, it's this little, right here, this little piece of your ear. If you get it pierced, then it will help something with some nerves in your head. So I got both of them done almost immediately. Did I notice anything? I don't know. I feel like it's the medicine, but I did it anyway. I know that I have restricted certain foods whenever I go places. Like, I know I will eat certain things whenever I'm at home or places that I know, and I'll be completely fine. But if I go out of town, I know, for example, I got a really bad migraine whenever I went and I ate Mexican food one time at a place and I had chorizo. Because there are different websites that tell you that, and these are credible websites that tell you that certain processed meats, that there's MSG and there are other kinds of things in those processed meats that trigger migraines. But they also tell you that like chocolate and other things like that trigger migraines. So basically anything can trigger them. So another thing was, I've heard that very strong scents sometimes can trigger a migraine. I don't know if it can trigger a classic migraine where you have the aura and everything like I've described. But we had just found my husband's like incense warmer that he had had for a long time. And I had bought some incense and whatever, and I had started having a couple migraines. And you know, it probably was not related, but I was like, you know what? I can't do it, because if that's related, I can't. It just takes it out of me. And so those are just some precautions that I have taken in order to not have to deal with it. So here is where I feel like maybe I can be helpful. Here's some things that you should know if you are really struggling. Know that it has taken me 9 years, 9 years to get to where my medicine, knock on wood. There's real wood over here. Pardon me, I'm gonna knock on it. Say a prayer. Where my medicine is stable and my migraines are stable. And you know what? Tomorrow they could come back full-fledged and I could need to get my medicine changed again and everything could be crazy. You never know. Because my migraines were fine 2 times before and everything had to be changed. So you never really know. Another thing that I've always been thinking about is what happens whenever I get pregnant. These are things that I think about constantly, and this is something else. If you have anxiety about when you're gonna have a migraine, what are you gonna do if you're somewhere and you can't get home, and what's gonna happen, that's okay. Because you are not alone. I'm there too. I get it. I'm here. I understand. It's very daunting to not know whenever your day is going to be ruined. Your next few days are going to be ruined. You could be on vacation. That's one thing that I was concerned about. On my wedding day, I was like, what am I going to do if I have a migraine? I could be saying my vows and my vision goes. And I do this because it's always this eye. I've had scans and everything. I'm fine. It's migraines. It's not like anything terrible. As of last year anyway. I had my bridesmaids carry my migraine meds so they could pass it up and I could be good. That would have been on the wedding video. But that's how scared I was and still am. So if you are having some fear about this, don't think that you're alone. You're not the only one. If you are someone who struggles with any kind of chronic pain or chronic medical conditions to where you never really know when something's going to happen, it's okay if you are anxious about it. I mean, whenever I would get them for the longest, I would cry. No, I would sob. I would lay in bed. I would get home from work because I would say, I need to leave. I need to be in a dark room because my head would be pounding. And I would lay in my bed and I would sob because it would just be so painful. So don't feel like you are less than because you are in so much pain. Like, don't feel that way. And if you really want to know something funny to make this lighthearted, probably 90% of the time I wear glasses. Obviously I can't here because I have a ring light. You would just see rings right here instead of glasses. If I would get like a smudge on my glasses sometimes, and I put this in past tense, but I still do this in the present, I'll be like, oh God, what is that? What is that? Because I think, oh no, there goes my vision. I'm gonna have a migraine. My day is gone. Oh my gosh, how am I gonna get home? Where's my medicine? What do I do? Let me call my husband. Can he take me home? What am I gonna do? Can I drive? Oh God, am I gonna drive? It's hard to drive. It really is. It's not like, let me depend on my husband. That's not it. It's just, it's hard to drive when you can't see. It's dangerous. So if that's you, do not be ashamed. You need to be able to tell someone that that's the way you feel, okay? And you're not alone. I had to figure out that this was a process. You have to adjust medicine to your changing body because this started whenever I was 21. And here I am, I'm about to be 30 years old. Throughout that time, my body has changed and my hormones have changed. And so everything has changed throughout, and it's a process that you have to go through. I mean, you know, really before this, I had never really had any major concerns like that. And it's a process that you have to go through, and you have to be patient. But how are you supposed to tell someone to be patient whenever they're in pain? They're in constant torment of, when is my day going to be ruined? How can I plan something whenever I am not sure whether I'm going to be feeling well or not? It's hard. It's very hard. And it can be depressing. You can be anxious about it as well. So don't feel as if you are alone. There are more people out there that feel the same way. The best advice that I can give is that you need to make sure that you have a doctor that truly understands the neurological aspects of what's going on. She had a neurological specialty, and so she could tweak my medicines and figure out what was best for me, because she knew what she could do to make everything better for me and what was actually okay to do. And then she actually left the practice and she went somewhere else, and it's out of network. So I have to stay in network. And the doctors that I've been seeing throughout, they're like, you can take this medicine and that's okay. And I'm like, yeah, this doctor told me that. And I'm okay, obviously. And so it's because she had that specialty. So make sure that you have a doctor that is well versed in what is best for you with your migraines, because that is extremely important. And the last piece of advice that I can give is that you surround yourself with people that understand that if you have an onset of a migraine, that you need to go. It's not your fault. And I'll see you later. Like, go. What can I do to help you? All right, see you later. Get in a dark room. Do you need a Gatorade? Do you need a cold compress? Comfy bed? Do you have one? If not, I have one. You need those friends. You don't need the, you're no fun friends. You need good friends that will support you and understand that this is something you cannot control. You're not a buzzkill. You are someone who has something that you cannot help. You can't control it. So surround yourself with people who understand that you're not doing anything wrong. You can't help what's going on with your head. All right, so if you have any questions for me about my experiences, about how I feel about things, about how I kind of control my anxiety to make sure that I don't lose my mind over this, leave it down in the comments below. I will definitely respond because I have so many things to say. I mean, I don't really have many people to chit chat with this about. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I would love to have you here on a weekly basis, on a, is it tri-weekly if it's 3 videos a week? So if you like videos like these where it's more laid back, me just talking about things, let me know. You got the candle going. It's blushing pink rose petals from Bath & Body Works. It's a little old, so, but I mean, it smells really good, so whatever. That's all for today. See y'all next time.